Hello everyone and welcome to another LSJ's Late Review, this time for Sorcerer. So Sorcerer is a 1977 action-adventure movie, in a way, directed by William Friedkin. So this is the movie, like he'd had two slam dunks in the 70s, just absolute slam dunks of films, both box office and critically. First one being The French Connection, which is a really good crime movie with Gene Hackman. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's a fucking great flick. And then, of course, his iconic horror movie, The Exorcist, which came out a couple of years later. So he was on a bit of a roll, and I guess he was feeling ambitious because the result is Sorcerer. Sorcerer is filmed in a whole bunch of different countries. It starts largely with either very little dialogue or in foreign languages. So that might put people off at the start if they're not willing to stick with it. It is largely an English spoken movie, but there is some foreign language elements. Where do I even begin? So let's just start with the actual start of the film itself. All right, the movie revolves mostly around four men, and four men who are in this South American poverty-stricken town because they're on the run from something. And you see four vignettes of pretty much why all four of these men are where they are. The first one, he shoots a guy stone cold, and then just walks away. You know, you don't know why he shot the man or who he is, but he's done it and he's out. Another one is this Palestinian suicide bomber or something like that who sets off a bomb and then manages to escape, but authorities catch his accomplices. Then you've got this rich Frenchman who has this really lovely relationship with his wife, and would have liked to have seen that explored more, but it's explored right enough, just enough that you really feel that. And he's in trouble for fraud, so rather than face up to what he's done, he fucking runs, he bolts. And then the fourth man is someone everyone should know. It's Roy Scheider from Sequest, no, but Jaws and things like that. 2010. All sorts of movies. He's been everywhere, and he's a getaway driver for a robbery gone wrong. They rob a rival crime boss and shoot his brother, and there's a car accident afterwards, and Roy Scheider's character just fucking bolts. So all four of these men, after their backstories that are to varying degrees of length, one's a bit more mysterious. The three are delved into a lot more. But after that, you kind of see their lives in this South American town. It's poverty everywhere. The only source of income for this town is this oil well. And something happens and it catches fire. So what ends up happening is 200 miles away, there is this kind of bunker or something like that has all this kind of nitroglycerin explosives in it, and they need four men. Funnily enough, there is four men, main characters in this movie. Four men, live long and prosper, to transport as much nitroglycerin as they can across rough terrain in the South American jungle, through bridges, blockades, cliffs, over cliffs. When you see things in movies all the time when they're driving around a hill and the wheels are like right next to the edge, things like that. And they take two trucks. Each truck has like only three boxes of this nitroglycerin in it, and the sand covering the fucking bottom, just to kind of dull the vibrations and stuff. And they've got to make this journey, and it's a way for them to make money. It's a way for them to do something good, because these four men are not good, and it's a way for them to maybe get paid and escape from this poverty-stricken town and maybe try to get their lives back, or escape to another new life. Wow. Usually my gists of the movie are just like 2 seconds, and it's like this is me gushing about the movie. I fucking loved Sorcerer, and what blows my mind is this movie is a box office flop. Well, it was at the time it was released. You had French Connection, big hit, Oscar-winning movie, Best Picture. The Exorcist, oh, big hit, iconic horror movie, and then you have Sorcerer, and not many people know Sorcerer. I don't know quite how I stumbled upon it, but I'm really glad that I did. It. I usually do a movie review either a couple of hours after or the next day of. It depends on what time I watch the movie, because I like to film during the day. And I watched this movie a few days ago, and I haven't done the review yet because I just can't stop thinking about this film. I can't stop thinking about the characters, the dialogue, the fucking intense set pieces, the stunts, the deep story, the sweat, the tension. It stuck with me all these days, and I can't get this movie out of my head. Usually when I've watched a film and reviewed it, it's out of my head now. Now it's time to kind of go, all right, I'm cleansed. It's time for the next thing. But I still got this movie just stuck right in here. And a big part of that isn't just the cinematography, the action set pieces, the actors, the dialogue. A big part of that is also the wonderful soundtrack by Tangerine Dream, who you guys might know from Near Dark and Blade Runner especially. But I have not heard a bad soundtrack by Tangerine Dream, and this is, I think, one of the first movies that really got them a lot of attention. So at least there's something good that came out of this, because yeah, as I said, this movie's a big flop. Now what? One of the big reasons for that big flop, I would say that this movie came out around the same time as this movie set long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah, 1977. This movie came out around the same time as Star Wars and got fucking crushed. Not only that, I think the foreign language elements that make up the bulk of the first half hour were probably off-putting. And also, it's a movie called Sorcerer by the director of The Exorcist, and there's zero supernatural elements. So that might have put people off as well, which is unfortunate because I think Sorcerer is just as good, if not better, than the two previous films I just mentioned. It's a masterpiece. Everyone's really well fleshed out. You don't want to live in this world, but you want to watch the people in it, how they interact, what they'll do to survive, what they'll do to run from their past, to escape to a better future. The ending is unforgettable. The close-ups on people's faces, the sweat pouring down them, the scenes with the trucks on their fucking 200-mile journey. There's this one sequence where it's so tense, and when they finish that, you think, right, okay, bit of a breather, and then it cuts back to the truck that's behind them, and they're going through the same shit, and now the terrain, the bridge is worse now. The fucking storm's raging even harder. It's just so intense. This movie doesn't let up. If you're willing to give it a chance, this movie will draw you in and won't let you go. It hasn't let me go in days. And I loved it. I can't believe how much of a hidden classic this is. I feel like I've been really lucky. The last two reviews I did, The Driver by Walter Hill, and now William Friedkin's Sorcerer. Now I gave The Driver a 9. I loved it. Didn't stick with me quite as much, but it's something I probably would come back to and maybe reassess in the future. But Sorcerer is a perfect movie. One that I'm probably going to watch here and there for the rest of my life. It is jaw-droppingly good. And you should watch it. It gets a 10 out of 10. I can't really fault it for anything, which is why it gets the perfect score. It's a strong 10. And even better, check the links down below. Yeah, that's how I watched this movie. On fucking YouTube. YouTube has, I don't know how it's allowed there. Maybe it's because it's such an underrated, underappreciated gem. No one really knows about it. No one really cares about it. No one thinks they can make money off it. So it's there on YouTube. I don't know. If you're watching this in the future, maybe it's still not on YouTube. Or maybe we're all dead from coronavirus. Who knows? But whatever happens in these crazy times, give yourself this is 2 hours. All right? A movie that's that long has to be that fucking good to keep me that engrossed and that just so into it. Absolutely loved it. I watched it with my wife. She didn't quite like it as much as I did. But that's okay. She doesn't have to. And neither do you. But I think you'll get a lot out of this. If you like a really good, riveting, intense, adventurous suspense flick, this is the movie for you. Alright, so give me a like, dislike, share, subscribe, follow me on the Tweety Tweet, all that stuff. And I'll see you next time. I don't know what I'm going to watch next. I'll figure something out. Thank you.